hand sanitizer again. So now that the eyelashes are properly fixed, let's move on to the face. Now I want to apply my face primer on the face. Face primer or foundation base, anyone. Once you see face primer or you see foundation base, it means the same thing. So with this brush, I told you before that this brush applies well. It doesn't take so much of your product and it applies very well. So applying beads, because if you dot all over the face and you want to start blending, it's just going to dry up and you won't be able to blend well again. And when you cannot blend well, you can't get a good result with your makeup. So please, less is more and apply in bits. You blend, and you blend upward and outward. You can see I'm blending out like this. That's the same way we are going to blend our foundation. Upward and outward. Upward and outward. Please look up. Upward and outward. I told you about foundation strip test earlier. If you are working on your clients, you should have done your strip test around this area before you further with the rest of the makeup, so that when you get to the process of applying foundation, you won't start testing. Do your foundation strip test before the brow is done, so that after doing the strip test, you can clean your canvas and get to it. And then when it gets to you doing the foundation, you already know what to do. That's the way I used to do my makeup before I gathered enough experience to be able to tell what color works for who. So with this dark color now, but let me just show you guys anyway. Can you see? It's okay, but her neck is slightly lighter than her face. So I'm going to add a bit to it, a bit of light shade, so that it can blend with her neck color. That way you won't need to put foundation on the neck. It will just be perfect with the face color. So you mix together, you can see, and then you put. Look at this. Can you see? This is good enough. So with this round full foundation brush, I'm going to be blending, and I always blend into the pores. Don't brush out like this. Blend into the pores. That way you get a very flawless result. Please look up. Can you see? Her face and neck color, they look the same, and we don't have foundation on her neck. It's just on her face. Now on the forehead, try as much as possible not to use so much foundation, because personally I don't like seeing that demarcation of, oh, this is my foundation and this is my real skin on my head. It has to be well blended. It should just sit in like the second skin, not like a mask. Can you see? I have foundation there and there's no line. Look at this. And make sure you blend the under eye area very well. So you can even see the difference. She's looking more flawless now, and she's still looking like herself, not like a white person. So this is going to the side. And you can see I'm taking in bits. I'm not packing everything at once. Look at this. Up. Okay. Okay, so now I don't have enough foundation here, so I'll add. It's better to add in bits than to have so much and then you have to wipe off at the end of the day. That's wastage for me too. And you know, products are quite expensive these days, so you should not waste products. So you do what? You mix again. You mix it again and then you blend. And you must not forget the proportion that you used to mix the earlier foundation, so that it won't look different. So before head down, you blend in, you blend in, you blend in, and spread out. So relax. Once you notice your client is straining their brows, just tell them to relax. They need to relax. It's a pampering section. Let them enjoy it. They should enjoy every bit of it. In fact, if they like, let them sleep off on it. It's good. See? She's looking smooth. She's looking flawless. And just in case you are working on somebody who has spots, personally, I always apply my foundation first. Then after applying, if I can still see spots, I'll put the exact shade of concealer that will blend into my foundation. So I'll put it on the spots and then I'll blend it into the foundation. I usually do this because sometimes when people see spots, they just put concealer on it. And some of these spots, your foundation can cover up. So you don't even need concealer sometimes. But if you now put concealer, then you put foundation, you'll be putting so much product on the skin that you don't need. So right now I'm going to move on to my highlighting and contouring. This part, a lot of people like it because everybody wants to look slim these days. So now for me, the essence of highlighting and contouring is to have the perfect face shape, which is the oval shape. And you know, this is oval. So the simplest way to get highlighting and contouring is by creating your oval shape in whatever face shape. If it's a round shape, a square shape, any kind of shape, just get your oval. And then if it's oval shape, work made easy. You don't have to start doing one serious highlighting and contouring. The face is already over, so it's just a bit of highlight you need. So I'm going to be highlighting this part of her face. Please look up. With a shade or 2 shades lighter concealer, depending on how you want it to be highlighted or how you want it to be contoured. So for me, I take my concealer really close to the eye area. And then I put enough, just enough. I press in bit too because I don't want excesses. I don't want to start struggling with excesses. So, in the bridge of the nose, in this part, the tip of the jaw, yeah, this part as well. Yes. She's about to become slim. These are chubby face like this. I'm going to make it slim. So that is my 2 shades lighter concealer. I'll be blending that out with my beauty blender. My beauty blender is drying out, so let me wet it with my fix spray. Okay, I have a bit of moisture now. Okay, look up this. So blend, blend, blend. Work it out. Look up this. This part is clean. I use the clean part because I don't want that color on that side. you blend in, don't blend off, blend in, blend in. And on this area that you don't want that much color, you use the clean part. Look at it. You blend in. And you tap in gently. Don't go slamming the brush, the beauty blender on your client. Now that's my highlights. Can you see? It's well blended. Look at this. That blending is very, very important. We should see the effect, but we should see that it's well blended. So you can see we don't have harsh lines. No harsh lines. It's well highlighted and well blended. So after this, I want to do my contouring now. So for contouring, we are going to be using a shade or 2 shades darker. Now see, this is even like an exact shade, so but let's just do it so that you can get the scope in case you are working on a lighter person that the contouring will really come out. So what I'll do now is I'm going to take this my blending brush and I'll use it here right beside my nose highlights. The edge of concealer, highlight and contour is that it lasts longer than just powder contouring and highlighting. So that's why we are doing this. It helps to hold the powder when you now use it to set it. So you can see, you can blend that in with your beauty blender as well. And you know, I told you that my flat top brush does a wonderful job with contouring. So I'm going to be using that flat top brush now to put my concealer contour. So, you know, from this point down is where I'm going to contour. So I'll do that with this brush. This brush is magical. It blends well. Blends well, no harsh line. So yes, my concealer is not enough. Okay. I told you, follow that line. And yes, for contouring, for me the easiest way to get contouring is by drawing an imaginary figure 3 like this, figure 3 or letter E. Do you understand? It's very simple. Once you follow that, easily you will contour and highlight for anybody. So that's what I'm doing right now. If she was someone who has very chubby jawline, we just contour this part. But for her, she doesn't have very chubby jawline, so we are concentrating on this area. So now, just for you to be very sure that everything is well blended, you can go back in with your beauty blender and blend your contour and highlights. You just tap gently like this. It's very easy, very simple. It's not difficult at all. After the highlight and contour, the next thing is to set our highlight and our contour. So with my setting powder and my beauty blender, look at this, I'm going to set all the areas highlighted. I'm going to put my setting powder. And all the areas contoured, I'm going to be using my 2 shades darker powder to set. This setting powder is a translucent powder. What that means is that it works for almost all the shades, like everybody. Another thing I'm going to do is to highlight this part so that I can really lift up her cheekbone. Underneath, I'm highlighting underneath the contour. Okay, just a little bit, not so much actually. So I have just enough. That's why I'm not adding. I have just enough. So that's my highlights. So I'm going back with my 2 shades darker powder. You can see this powder is dark enough and it works a lot for almost all skin color, unless the person is very light. So I'm going to be setting all the areas contoured with this dark powder. And you know, with this brush you won't have harsh lines because the brush is flat, is roundish, so it's just going to do exactly what I want it to do. So you can see my oval shape highlight is there. And what contouring does is to darken. It's like telling you, oh, this part of the face is not there, but it's actually there. So it's a temporary facelift. Sorry, I'm going to go back to the nose contour with this brush. Then I'll follow up again. Remember, I contoured this part, so I'm just setting my contour. And yeah, you can see how pointed her nose is looking. So it's looking like it's just that highlight line that is there. So after this, I'll move on to something else. So let's do our lips. Because I want to really see, this is my highlighter or bronzer, any of the two. When I say highlighter or I say bronzer, it means the same thing. So I'm highlighting this cupid bone so that I can get the shape of her lips. So we are doing light lips actually. So I'm going to be working with neutral tones for our lips. Neutral tones, colors that will just sit in well, like nude colors, shades of brown. Please, can you hold this for me? Okay, so right here I have this is my lip brush. It's small and it's flat. Smile please. So I'm using my lip brush now to apply my product. I don't apply lipsticks directly because of hygiene. I use my lip brush. You know, I can easily clean my brush before using it on someone else. And if you have no choice than to apply your lipstick directly, what you do is you apply the lipstick and then you clean the surface when you use your lipstick directly. So I want to darken down my liner. I use a brown shade to line, so I want to darken it. I'm putting this on it. Smile. Your client has to smile so that you can blend in your lipstick very well. If they don't smile, there will be cracks, and you don't want cracks. Smile please. So when they smile, you blend and blend till there are no harsh lines. You don't want to see that funny line. It's not professional when you see that line. So you blend and blend and blend. But don't blend off your color. Blend off the line, not the color. So you know, I told you it's light lips. For some clients may tell you, oh, I want my eyeshadow to have sparkles, I want my eyes to really pop, and I want my lips to pop as well. If she had said that, then I'll probably have used maybe shades of red on her lips as well, but personally it's a shoot, so I have the power to do whatever I like. So I'm doing light lips. This is a nude tone as well, so I'm putting this inside. Smile. You can see we still have ash lines. I'm going to blend it myself, because some people, when you tell them to blend, they do something else. They will smack the two colors together in such a way that you won't even have that result that you want. So I'll do my blending myself. I'll blend where this color meets this color. That's where I'm blending. Now, can you see the upper side? The upper side is well blended now compared to the lower side. You can see the line for the lower side, but the upper side is very neat. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for the lower side. So you make sure it's well blended. Now I can see that the inner lips is not popping very well like I want it to, so I'm going to add a bit to it again. Now please. So it will pop just the way I've imagined it, because I like to imagine a lot. I like to prepare what I want to do in my head before I get to it. So because that just makes me know that I'm not doing something right if I'm not getting the result I've pictured in my head. So I don't know, you can do that too. If you have a particular look you want to create, you have it in your head before you get to it. Because if you don't plan what you want to do, everything will just look like it, whereas that's not what it's supposed to be. So plan it and do it. Yeah, I have to make sure the new one I had there, I have to make sure it's blending well with the initial one. No ash line. Smile please. And you can see I'm like cleaning what I have on my brush whenever I want to blend the two colors. That's because I don't want to take the light one and now mix with the dark one. That's just going to ruin the entire process. So when you are moving to another color, you clean your brush again. Yes, I love it. It's so yummy, so neat. You can see the way it's looking. This is how I like it. So we have done the lips. I want to highlight the lips. I'm going to be using the concealer that is very close to our tone. That's what I'll use to highlight the lips. So I'm choosing this shade. I'm not dropping names of the shades I'm using now because I don't want to confuse you, so you don't start looking for. But I'm going to drop all the shades I used in my comments below later. But in case you are working with other brands, just like I said, get the advice on how their color works. So in bits with my concealer brush, I'm going to trace out this line. Look at me. Do this please. Yeah, can you see? You can see the neatness. You can see the neatness. So you trace out that line. Trace it out. Gently. Make sure it's straight. It has to be straight. If it's not straight, it won't look nice. So make sure it's very straight and blend out properly too. You can see that the highlight color is not the concealer I used to highlight is not looking different from our skin. That's very important. You don't want that funny color to be showing, that highlight color. Because what makes you a professional is the ability to do a very good job, and people cannot really place how it's done. They just look at your job and they are like, oh my god, this job is beautiful, but they really cannot say, oh, maybe she used this color or that color. They just know it's beautiful. They can't place it. Yeah, that's the edge you have over our materials. So blend properly. Yeah, is when blended. And then I always set that part too. I set with the exact tone, exact color. Yeah, because I don't want oil. I don't want it to be shiny. And then right in between this cupid bone, I like to put this dark color there. It gives it one edge that I like, so I'm putting it there. Okay, so now lips done, eyes done. The next thing to do now is to apply the exact powder color on our face, like we are moving close to the finishing. So this is moving close to finishing. What we'll do with my powder brush, you see, very clean. You blend out, blend out, blend out. And when I say blend out, the way I blend out is to blend into the pores. I want the skin to look as flawless as possible. Please look up. So I'm not just blending out, I'm blending into her pores. I'm covering all the holes. It has to look very flawless. It just has to be flawless. So I'll blend into her pores. Yeah. Blend into her pores. Yes. Look up, please. Look up. Yeah. You can see the highlights, and you can see it's well blended. Let me see. Yeah, good. Can you notice I've not lined the eyes? Yes, it's intentional. I do that like last. So it's a powder shade. I'll do the finishing. A powder shade when it comes to the finishing. Yeah. I blend the powder into her pores as well. And I'm going to go back with my dark powder so as to pop my contour again. Yeah. And then if there's any area that you see that is looking like a bit lighter than what you want it to be, you can just tap your brush. Look at this. And just tap your brush that has a bit of dark powder. Not concentrate the brush on dark powder, because if you do that, it's going to ruin it. So just a bit. Moving on now, we are going to be applying the blush. Smile, please. That will be just above a contour in a roundish form. In a roundish form. And if you see that your contour is fading off, you can add a bit with your blush brush. And that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, now the next thing to do is to line the eyes. I told you I usually leave it intentionally because it pops more when I do it after. So now I'm going to be lining the inner eye ring with my gel liner, going in with my brush. Look up this. So I'll bring our eyes down a bit and line. You have to be sure your liner is on the inner eye ring. If she's tearing, just hold here and rub gently till she's not tearing anymore. and then you can use your q-tips to, q-tips means cotton bud, you can use that to get the water running out of our eyes. I always line till I get the intensity I want. It's not popping enough for me yet, so I'm adding again. And I'm smudging out gently. Please close your eyes. Close. So I'm going back to the top liner and I'm lining that part again because of my lash glue. I want my lashes to just blend very well with the liner. Look down. Can you see this one looks finer than this one? Look down please. This one I've not lined it, so it's not looking as good as the other one. So I'm going to line the other eyes now. Look up this. Like I said, I'll line it till I get the intensity I want. And please, your liner has to be very straight. Close your eyes please. And what I usually do is I join the wing liner with the lower part. Yeah. And make sure it's straight. Look at this. Okay. Then you check the two eyes and see if one is darker than the other, so you can make adjustments. Please open up, let me see. Yeah, this part now is not looking straight enough. So now the next thing to do is to use the mascara. Yes, right here. I'm going to be putting my mascara now. Look up this. To brush the bottom lashes. So I'll give you this illusion. Look at this. So I'm going to brush the bottom lashes and also brush the natural lashes into my false lashes. Look at this. Gently. Okay, yeah. So after that, I'm going to put my glow. That's like the last thing to do. My glow or my bronzer. Gently. Smile please. So, tap that in. Blend out. It has to be well blended too. It has to be well blended. Let me see. Oh, great. So I'm going to do that on the other side as well. Now blend, blend, blend. Yeah. And then I'll go back to this part and add a bit more. And then I blend out with my hand. And on her nose, I'll put air. Then the remaining on my finger, I'll just spread out to this part. But you can see I concentrated on this front part. Yeah, let me see. Okay, more. Okay, good. So if you like, you can decide to put a bit on the forehead. Usually, I don't go back in with my brush inside my bronzer. I just blend the little I have on my brush on the forehead, and then with my very small brush I blend out this part too. Do you understand? So everything is well blended now. You can see she looks so yummy. So after that, the last thing to do is to set with our fix spray. You set with your fix spray, and after setting with my fix spray, I always do two things. The two things is I go back in with my bronzer. If you are working on a client who really wants to glow, Can go back in with your bronzer. It pops more when you put it on the fix spray. Pops more. Gently. You tap in gently, but just on the cheek area. Then the second thing I always do is to brush the brow again. The reason why I always do this is to get rid of any powder that must have dusted on my brows that may not make it pop well. So I do that. Look at the two brows. You can see this is popping more than this. That's because of powder. So I'll go back and then I brush out my powder, and yes, she's ready.